Next up, Mr. Adam
Let's
Cole.
go. Yeah, Mr. Adam Cole. Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah.
I like a lot of talk over the last number of weeks. Contract expired.
Yeah.
He signed the extension for the month of August, which we learned is so he could wrap up his feud with Kyle O'Reilly, who is a great friend of his.
Yep.
Does the funny thing with Gargano for, was it Mattel?
Yeah.
The
Mattel thing. Yeah.
I love that. And then, his contract expires and we have no idea where he is, but we can all speculate. That's all we can do is speculate. Would he have re-signed? I'll say this. I said this when I was speaking to Jeff. I would have done anything that Adam Cole. I would have it didn't seem like he wanted much. I understand why WWE wouldn't give it to him, because if you give it to him, you got to give it to everybody else as well. But I still think the Twitch thing is a dumb rule. But I think Adam Cole is, at least on the WWE side of things, he is less. When you look on the AEW side, there's a lot more of him.
Yep.
Than there is on the WWE side. He stands out way more on the WWE set of things.
Yeah.
Than he does on the AEW set of things.
I think people like to say that he'll be at the top of wherever he is. And I say, yeah, if there aren't Adam Pages there, if there aren't, I would be real with me here. Adam Page, Adam Cole next to each other. Which one is it?
Listen, Adam for Adam, baby.
Which one do you see? I think with Adam Cole, there's a lot to be said about him. I think that I personally think that, other than the streaming thing, which I completely understand, he loves streaming. I think professionally, is in terms of just like the way I look at it, it's like you had your biggest part of your career be in this company, right? They would. I think that if he would have moved up to SmackDown or wherever, he definitely would have carried that on, because he showed in WWE he could do it by himself.
Mm-hmm.
When he was in ROH, when he was doing everything else, he was strong next to the Elite, PWG, everywhere. He was strong next to the Elite for good parts of it. He had his own stuff going with ROH, but then he was also with the Kingdom, or what's it called? Yeah, it was the Kingdom back in ROH, stuff like that. Like, he's been a guy that's he's been on the cusp of it, and NXT realized it. He was front and center on that SmackDown.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's a huge fumble that they said they said no to the Twitch thing. But in terms of just like, even just some of the things he said was like Vince was someone who came in and demanded respect, and then Tony Khan was someone who was like nicer. I think
he says that he like commands respect when he walks in the room, and I think it's a lot more of the intimidation factor that you don't get when you look at Tony Khan next to Vince McMahon. Yeah. I think, but go on, because I know you have a lot more thoughts on this.
Yeah. I think that it looks kind of weak. I'm not gonna lie to you. Looks kind of weak. I think that in terms of when you debut in this company with your boys, and you go directly back to being like second and third guy command, who is just now a catchphrase. You're not going to be above Kenny unless you turn on them, or the Bucks unless you turn on them, or Adam Page, which is his return is going to be fucking huge. I'll watch that because I fuck with him. Where does he land at? I think we know where Punk's going to land at. We know where he's going to land at. Like, I think if that was if the Twitch thing, yeah, stand up for what you believe in, absolutely. But I think that in terms of like where I think he could be a star at, or he would have been a star at, I absolutely think that, and I think WWE dropped the ball here. But I think he would have been a bigger star in WWE than he will be in AEW. He'll get the Bebe pops for sure. But where's the room for him at here?
I think there's also a lot other intangibles into his decision as well. I think you go to NXT. First of all, we know that he's been friends and he's been backstage at AEW, and he's gone to all their picnics and all this stuff like that. That's why it didn't surprise me when he didn't sign his contract, or he didn't re-sign his contract. I was like, there's a good chance he's gone, because he already has this built-in relationship that has been catered to over the last 2 years. Whether it's been through his wife, it's been
girlfriend.
Through girlfriend, going through various, events, supporting her backstage, still friends, et cetera, et cetera. Like there's a big group of camaraderie there. And then I look like, I don't want to say it's like this is the reason, but like you look in terms of WWE and you'll see like Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, and you'll see like Karrion Kross and Scarlett and stuff like that, and the type of relationship that they have internally within the company, and they're able to spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, he missed his friends.
Yeah,
that's what it
he
looked like
missed
to me.
his friends. He missed his bae. He missed everything.
Yeah, I feel like. I mean, he's 32. You know, there's nothing saying he won't be back. I think he will be.
And you know what? It'll be amazing if he does come back, because there's still unconquered territory for him. That's what I can at least say about him in comparison to like Daniel Bryan.
And that's what and that's what I'm saying here. Like, to me, it's a bunch of lineups and matches that he's had before there.
Yeah, a lot.
Like, there's a bunch of stuff, like, other than, okay, he never got his revenge on Kenny. I think that they could do that. They could say, hey, y'all beat, but again, it's also like you're bringing up stuff that insiders know about and not the people that are coming into your show. So I don't think they'll have him turn on like that. You know what I'm saying? No one really who's watching BTE for storyline stuff, but it's like, okay, he hasn't done the Kenny match yet. Hasn't really done an extended Bucks thing yet. But a lot of people on there, like he's had run-ins with. Meanwhile, if you were to put him with Cesaro's or, I mean, fucking Roman, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, he did some stuff with Finn and NXT, like, but it's like there's a lot of ground for him to cover, especially with him being a guy that, even of his size and stature, can talk on the mic, can go in the ring. He
earned his respect, and also in a sense commanded respect too, because it's not only him. It's like you look at a lot of his mentors in NXT, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, who gave him that thumbs up.
They gave him a lot. That's why it even looks dumber for them to even have let him go. I'm like, he's still going to be, I don't think there's going to be anyone else is going to be his NXT reign in terms of time with the title. There just isn't going to be. You gave him prime time on your TV. You gave him prime time on main roster TV at one point. You gave him a lot, and you let him go. I think it's just stupid that they can't figure that. I don't even know what they're doing on Twitch, because
that's the thing.
I have no clue what they're even doing on this thing. And I know they want to protect their IP. They could have done something. I don't know.
I agree. Let's get into the final debut, final surprise of the evening.
Yeah.
Mr. Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson debuts after Adam Cole debuts.
That was so stupid, right?
I think that was kind of dumb. I mean, it was like a double whammy, but I don't think you could have. I think they wanted to strike while the iron was hot on Adam Cole. I always expected Bryan Danielson. This is going to be tough for a while. I expected Bryan Danielson at All Out always, but then once Adam Cole's contract expired, I knew they would have to finagle him too, because he kind of got to strike while it's hot. And they love to cater to the dirt sheets and cater towards that crowd and stuff like that. Like, they don't, they're popping, a moment. They're having a moment right now. And, hey, Bryan Danielson is part of All Elite. And you know what? I expected it. I can't say that I didn't. Like, for all the reasons that we talked about on the Patreon thing a little bit earlier. Yeah. But we always knew that Bryan Danielson, he wanted to explore different things, especially once he got his career back. And if WWE hadn't allowed him to wrestle, he would have been wrestling elsewhere for the last maybe 3-4 years.
Yeah.
He probably would have been in that first wave. Well, I don't want to say first. Yeah, he might have been in that first wave of the All Elite thing, to be honest with you. There's a good chance he would have been to New Japan as well, but I think he would have saw the thing and say, oh, I want to be with my family. I want to have my family. Let me stay in the States, et cetera, et cetera. All Elite is right here. But
it's good that he waited. But I still felt like it was like, it was that serotonin boost of seeing them both out at the same time. Because all I was thinking was like, okay, so you've firmly established that Bryan's going to be hanging with the geeks, and then Adam Cole is going to be right back where he Adam Cole is going to be right back where he was when he left. So cool. To me, it's just bewildering on both ends that this was the impasse that broke this relationship. I just think it's just so stupid on both ends. It's just like because I mean he's even said like the offer was generous, but that was a major part of that. And even Bryan said that the offer was generous and they were going to let him work anywhere he wanted to, but he wanted to go to AEW, and that's fine. I think it's going to be tough for Bryan to get to Japan right now, considering everything going on with them. But we'll see. Are there any matchups you're excited for Bryan?
Bryan Danielson versus, let's see. Can't do Miro. Seen that already. Bryan Danielson,
Christian? I don't know.
We've seen that already. Let's see. I don't know. You know what? I think he's really excited to get in the ring with Orange Cassidy for whatever reason.
Good luck with that. That seems like
he likes just different kind of style of things. He's very quirky. This is why I didn't expect him to say anything bad about WWE, because if he had said something, I would have been like, "Yo, you are wildin', my like."
Yeah, no, you can't. I'm glad that he said what he said. I'm glad that he said that. I love him there.
But he doesn't play up to these things like a Punk will do. That's why I think like everyone kind of associates Daniel Bryan and Punk, and they will continue to do this again because they're, first of all, in WWE, those are the first two like true major indie stars that kind of came over to this side and had real genuine success. But people always associate them in career as if they're friends. I don't even think they're that good of friends. Like, no. I think because they're two different people. CM Punk is kind of a prick. And right. Daniel Bryan is like, I'm assuming he can be a prick, but I think he's a lot more easier to talk to, and he's a lot more honest with the things that he says and where he's come from. He's the only person in that media scroll who didn't feel a way about saying Vince McMahon in WWE. Everyone's like, oh, the other company, and back when I was before. And he's like, no, I worked for WWE, and Vince McMahon almost allowed me to do these things. But then I was like, no, but I still have love for Vince McMahon and everyone that kind of worked there. And then they talk about the yes chants and who we're still not sure in terms of like who's liable for the yes chants. So he's not going to do it in AEW. So he says, but I'm sure they're going to try to find a way for him to do it in AEW. Because it's a big part of his career.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do Bryan without WWE. I'm sorry, you just can't. Some of the biggest moments in wrestling came from when he was there. You can't erase that, and They shouldn't try to. They should definitely embrace the fact that yes, the yes chance will be there. Yes, he will be. It's all there.
And that's why, I mean, we talked about it on the Patreon, but that's why I don't get the idea of like, the whole. They weren't WWE guys. It's like, bro, yes, they fucking were for mad long. The biggest moments of Daniel Bryan's career happened in WWE. Biggest moments of CM Punk's career happened in the WWE. The context is there. Like, you can't just dismiss it because it caters to your point.